evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's debate. We have an exciting topic to discuss. Can you learn English while sleeping? Some claim that listening to English while sleeping helps reinforce vocabulary and pronunciation, while others argue that real learning requires active effort. To my right, we have Daniel, who strongly supports the idea that sleep learning is effective. And to my left, we have Michael, who believes that it's nothing more than wishful thinking. Let's begin. Daniel, you have the floor.
Thank you, James. First of all, let me say that learning a new language is a challenging task, and we should explore every possible method to make the process easier. Sleep learning is one of those methods that, if used correctly, can significantly boost language acquisition. We know that the brain is an active processor even when we sleep. Studies have shown that during REM, rapid eye movement sleep, the brain consolidates memories and strengthens neural connections. This means that whatever we learn during the day is further processed and stored while we sleep. Now imagine adding additional input during this crucial phase. If you listen to English phrases, vocabulary, or even conversations while you sleep, your brain will absorb the sounds and patterns passively. Over time, these sounds become familiar, making it easier to recall words and phrases in real-life conversations. In fact, research conducted by neuroscientists in Germany found that people who listened to vocabulary words during sleep had higher recall rates compared to those who didn't. This is proof that the brain doesn't just shut off at night, it continues learning. I believe sleep learning is a powerful reinforcement tool. It won't make you fluent overnight, but when combined with active learning, it can greatly improve retention and pronunciation.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, Daniel, but I have to challenge your claims. While it's true that the brain consolidates memories during sleep, that doesn't mean it can actively learn new information in the same way it does when we're awake. Your example of a song getting stuck in your head is interesting, but that's just passive exposure, not true learning. Listening to something while sleeping might make it sound familiar, but familiarity is not the same as comprehension. You might recognize the words, but can you use them correctly in a sentence? Probably not. Let's take a simple example. If someone plays a complex math lecture while they sleep, will they wake up the next morning understanding calculus? Of course not. The same applies to learning a language. You need to engage with the material, practice pronunciation, construct sentences, and most importantly, use the language in real conversations. Furthermore, listening to English while sleeping can actually disrupt deep sleep, which is essential for cognitive function. If your brain is constantly processing external sounds, it doesn't get the rest it needs. Instead of helping language learning, this could actually make it harder to concentrate and retain information the next day. In short, sleep learning sounds like a dream come true, but in reality, it's not a shortcut to fluency. If you want to improve your English, you need to study actively and consistently.
Both of you have made compelling arguments. Daniel, Michael says that familiarity isn't the same as comprehension. What's your response to that?
I completely agree that passive listening alone won't make you fluent. But sleep learning is not about replacing traditional study methods, it's about enhancing them. Think about it this way. If you study English grammar and vocabulary during the day, then listen to related content while sleeping. Your brain has a second opportunity to reinforce and internalize the material. Here's another scientific study to consider. Researchers in Switzerland conducted an experiment where participants were taught new vocabulary before sleeping. One group then listened to those words while asleep, while the other group did not. The next day, the first group remembered significantly more words than the second. This proves that sleep learning doesn't introduce new knowledge, but it helps solidify existing knowledge. It's a tool that enhances recall and retention, making the learning process more efficient. Also, regarding sleep disruption, yes, playing loud or distracting content could be harmful, but using soft, well-structured sleep learning tracks can actually help with relaxation and focus.
That's an interesting point, Danielle. However, even if sleep learning helps with memory retention, it still doesn't teach you how to use the language actively. I could memorize thousands of words, but if I don't practice using them in real conversations, they're useless. Language is about interaction, expression, and comprehension, not just recalling words. Moreover, language learning requires context. You need to understand grammar, sentence structure, and the cultural nuances of communication. Sleep learning doesn't provide context, it just repeats words. And without context, you're not truly learning. Instead of relying on passive methods, people should focus on active learning strategies like speaking with native speakers, writing in English, and engaging in meaningful conversations. These methods have been proven time and time again to be the most effective way to learn a language.
This has been a fascinating discussion. Before we conclude, let's hear some final thoughts. Daniel, your closing statement.
Thank you, James. To summarize my argument, sleep learning is not a magic trick that will make you fluent overnight, but it is a scientifically supported tool that can help reinforce language learning. When combined with active study methods, it can improve memory retention, pronunciation, and familiarity with the language. Instead of dismissing it as a myth, learners should see it as a valuable supplement to their studies. So my advice is, study actively during the day and use sleep learning as a reinforcement method at night. You'll be surprised at how much progress you can make.
I appreciate this debate and I respect Daniel's enthusiasm. However, my stance remains the same. Sleep learning is not a reliable method for mastering a language. Yes, repetition helps, but language learning requires active engagement, practice, and context. Passive listening might help a little, but is no replacement for real-world conversation and practical use. If you truly want to improve your English, focus on methods that actually work, speak, write, listen actively, and engage with native speakers. There are no shortcuts to fluency.
Thank you both for this engaging discussion. It's clear that while sleep learning may offer some benefits, it should be used as a supplementary tool rather than a primary method for learning English. To our audience, what do you think? Have you ever tried learning a language while sleeping? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time for another exciting debate.